Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Yaveon 365 live product tour. We are Yaveon. We create the best solution for process industries everywhere. So I've got some information that I would like to disclose before we start our demo. This webinar will be recorded and will be emailed to you afterwards, and we're also going to post it to YouTube for your review. If you would like to ask any questions or have anything you'd like to see in chat, that's going to be to the right on your screen in the toolbar. If you'd like to collapse or expand it to see more, you can absolutely do that or adjust your audio settings. Our agenda today is I'm going to introduce myself and my colleague who's going to be doing our demo today, going over who we are, who is Yaveon, and we're going to be providing a live demo on lot management, quality, and manufacturing functions, and kind of highlighting some topics in those features. And then at the end, after the end of the 30 minutes, we're going to be doing a Q&A if you have any questions. So I'm Emerson, I'm your host today, and I'm also the business development rep at Yaveon for the US team. Joined with me is Noelle Super. She is our product success manager, and she's going to be doing our demo. So thank you so much for that. Right, so Yaveon, who are we? We are an ERP software provider going through Microsoft 365 Business Central. And this is specifically for process manufacturers. So that's our niche for pharma, food, chemical, cosmetics, med tech, and biotech. We provide compliance software for things like FDA, European law, and GMP compliance, specifically for pharma, food, and med tech. Lastly, I have an app overview of what we provide. And as you can see, we have a lot of options that unfortunately we can't get to everything today, but specifically we will be going over manufacturing, lot management, and quality control. And what's great about this is you don't have to buy a big package, right? Anything that you purchase can be in a smaller packages. So if you don't need something, you don't have to purchase it. So thank you so much for being here again. And if you have any questions beyond our webinar, please don't hesitate to email us, or you can also follow us on our LinkedIn page. We have tons of information on there that's updated. So without any further ado, let's go to Noelle for our demo today.
All right, thanks, Emerson. Let me go ahead and just get my screen share ready to go here. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn off my camera so we can get a little bit of a bigger screen for us. It looks like, Emerson, I need to be made a presenter to share.
Yes, got it. Interesting. All right.
Thank you. And just a quick confirmation, looks like we can see Business Central there.
Yes.
Perfect. So we'll get started. All right, thanks so much, everybody, for joining. Again, my name is Noelle, Product Success Manager here at Yaveon. So, of course, if you're familiar with Business Central, we're starting here on our Role Center. If you're not familiar with Business Central, this is our landing page. This is going to give us the features and functionality that's most pertinent to our day-to-day. So today I am a business manager. So you'll see a lot of features and functionality, Power BI reports, stuff around accounting, trade, etc. I'm going to start out by popping into our inventory summary screen. So I have some bookmarks here, some quick links that help me get to the features and functionality that I'm using most often. And the reason why I like to start with our inventory summary is because this is a feature that we offer above and beyond what base Business Central has that really allows us to break down that inventory that we have on hand and get greater visibility at that lot level. So of course, in our industries, we're working a lot with lots. Today, as an aside, we're going to be making some cough syrup. So those are the various materials that you're seeing here. But on our inventory summary page, again, we can see all of those different items we have. We have visibility into what lots we have. If we have multiple warehouse locations or production facilities, we can see where that inventory and where those lots are located. of course, our quantity on hand. And as I continue to scroll to the right here, we start to see features of our lot management and quality solutions. So I want to talk about the status field here first. And what the status field allows us to do is maintain a lot release process flow in Business Central in combination or side by side with our quality processes. So as we have inventory coming into our system, whether that's raw material coming off of a truck in the receiving area or something that's being produced off a production line, typically we're going to have the system automatically put that in a QC status. And then based on the output of our quality results, we can update that status to release if everything's okay, or we can update it to blocked if we have an issue. Now, if you're in a highly regulated industry and you want that to be a manual update, system is configurable to do that. Oftentimes, folks in like the food and beverage industry like that to be an automated process. So we have flexibility there. A little bit further down, we can see our expiration dates. Of course, in our industries, those expiration dates are important, and we need good visibility into those. And the cool thing between about our status and our expiration date is that we have something in our system called posting rules. So those posting rules allow me to put bumpers in the system and to tell the system what I can and cannot do with inventory based on that status and expiration date. So for example, perhaps I don't want to be able to pick inventory if it's not in a release status, of course, consume it in production, can't ship something unless it's released. Those are all the types of rules that we can work with. If you're working with shelf life requirements, we can have barriers around that. Maybe we don't want to ship something if it's going to expire in the next 90 days. And lastly, we can work with item availability. So you're going to see over here on the right, those items that are in my quarantine and block status. Right now, the system is not considering that as available inventory, and I can work those into my planning processes as well. Over on the left-hand side of the screen here, we see our traffic light feature. So we're going to see those traffic lights throughout the application. They're available on master data records, of course, our inventory summary here, a lot of our warehousing and production pages. And what these allow us to do is set up some sort of a visual indicator based on data that's on the page. So it's completely flexible in the way that we want to set it up. What you're seeing right now is that this is an indicator of my lot status. So I can tell very quickly if I, doing something in a production process or a warehousing process and I need information on my inventory, it's really easy to see what inventory is available. Now, if I'm in a different role or if I need to toggle back and forth between different traffic lights, I certainly can do that. So for example, this one's showing me expired inventory. Maybe I do something with locations, lots of possibilities there. So we'll just put that back on lot status for now. Next, we're going to move into some of our quality features. So the really great thing about our quality solutions is that they pair very nicely with that lot release process flow we talked about. We can have the system recognize when we have had our quality processes, we've had good quality results, or if we've had something that's outside of tolerance that we need to take further action on. I'm going to go ahead and go to our release inspection orders here. And those quality processes too, all of our apps work very closely together. So, if you have additional compliance needs like electronic signatures, that also can be integrated, for example, into our quality processes or manufacturing processes. So that's another benefit of these solutions. So here on my release inspection order, if I put on the hat of somebody in a QA team, I can see, this is where I'd be spending a lot of my time. I can see the different inspection orders that I have that are ready for me to execute. Again, these can be triggered automatically based on events that have happened in the system. So if I'm receiving that material into the warehouse, I can have that inspection order automatically trigger if something's coming off a production line, whatever the case may be. We can see here on these release inspection orders that we have the status. So if I am in a management role and I want to see where different things are at, I can see the status of those orders. I can see the lots. Maybe if I'm somebody in the production area and I'm waiting for a specific lot to be released so I can use it in production, I get some visibility here into what is happening. So the nice thing about these status is as I start entering in data into that inspection order, this status is going to dynamically update. It's going to tell me when I have an in-process inspection and when I've entered all of the data prior to posting the order. So we'll go ahead and open up one of these here. This is a cough syrup that's come off a production line. So this happens to be an intermediary good. You can see here that this inspection order is mapped to that lot number. It's in a status of released. And right here, we have this Boolean called within limits. So this is telling me right now, because this is turned on, I haven't entered anything that is outside of a tolerance that I need to be concerned about. As soon as I do this, this within limits would turn off. So that's a really nice visual indicator for someone who's working with this document. As I scroll down to the lines of my inspection order, we can see what we call our inspection features. So these are the different data points that I'm going to be recording. I can enter data in multiple different ways. So I could enter in, you can see here, this option data type. That means I'm going to enter from a drop-down list. The decimal, I'm going to enter in a number. In this case, I've entered or I've assigned a lower tolerance and an upper tolerance limit. And all this is coming from a template that I set up in the background, right? So I'm going to tell the system based on the item or based on a group of items, if they're the same, what those inspection features should be and what those tolerances are. Again, there's other ways we can enter in data. So date fields, text fields, and Boolean fields. I would say these two are the most common. So let's take a look and see what this looks like. I'm going to select on this actual value recording. Another nice feature about how these inspection orders are organized is we can have these inspection groups, right? So for example, if maybe I'm sending off a sample to a third-party lab for micros, I have a separate inspection group here. Maybe I have different people who are doing these activities. Maybe I have for a raw material, somebody in the warehouse is doing a visual inspection, a COA check, but then I have somebody in the lab who's taking samples and doing additional work. So this is a really nice way to segregate those activities. I'm just going to go ahead and select that first one here. So when I'm entering data into the system, we can see what our target value is. This one's a drop-down list, so we're not going to have any lower and upper tolerances there, but we'll go ahead and just select our values. And it was really easy as that. We'll just enter in a couple more, and maybe this time I'm going to pick something that does not pass an inspection. So in this case, it's expecting for the value to be passed. So we'll just go ahead and select fail here. And we'll enter something for our foreign matter. And now you're going to see, like we talked about earlier, I did enter something that was outside of my limit. So I can see here now that there's, that we have failed this inspection. There's something that we need to address or pay attention to. We'll just quickly enter in our last value here, and then I'll show you the next steps. In this case, we're entering in an active ingredient. So if you are working with active ingredients, any type of potency calculations, we are able to record these features in the quality process. That's going to carry through to the lot, and then we can use that information later when we're doing lot selection for production. So if we need to change our component quantities based on a strength, we have functionality to support that. You're going to see here that the status has updated to inspection finished, so the system knows that I have entered in all of the data and it's ready to be posted. As a quick side note, we do have a mobile app for this. So I'm just going to pop over here quickly and show you. We're not going to cover WMS today, but we do support full WMS in partnership with TaskFlit, barcoding, scanning, all of the activities that would happen in a warehouse. And you can see here on a handheld device, we can execute inspection orders here as well. So this is really helpful if you have perhaps folks, again, in that receiving area who need to enter in a little bit of data, maybe somebody on the shop floor in production who's doing in-process production checks, or maybe even somebody in the lab who is moving around and might not be next to a terminal all the time. This is a way where they could quickly enter in data as well. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this finished. Real quick call out here. If, again, we talked about those electronic signatures, so maybe I'd want to put an electronic signature before I mark this finished. I could have that requirement enabled there. We'll go ahead and hit finished. It's going to ask me if I want to open up my finished inspection order. So now we have a finished inspection order here. From here, of course, I can create a reinspection order. In this case, we do have something outside of control limits, so maybe I do want to reinspect that. If I have automated lot status updates turned on, the system would recognize, again, that this is outside of limits, and it would automatically block that lot, as we saw back on the inventory summary page. But in this case, since I'm working with a pharma ingredient, I'm going to do something called a usage decision. I'm actually going to change the lot at the end of the process here. So we'll go ahead and click this usage decision. This opens up a page called the lot note info modification page. And this is what I can use either in a quality process or outside of the quality process if I have a need to update a lot status, If you do any expiration date extensions, this is the functionality that's available to make those lot level changes. I'm going to go ahead and change my status here to blocked. Lots of control here if we want to put in rules on who is able to change lot status, who's able to, could be as granular as who is able to change it from blocked to released. We have lots of functionality to support those controls as well, along with electronic signature functionality if that's required. So we updated that to blocked. I'm going to go ahead and post it. And that completes our inspection process. We also have a COA that's available in the system that can be generated off an inspection order. So from that finished inspection order, when I've completed everything, I can go ahead and create a certificate of analysis. We'll go ahead and look at one that's already done for us here. So our certificate of analysis, of course, is going to have our lot number. It's going to have our item number. It is status controlled. I have signed it here. I have added an electronic signature. In this case, I required an electronic signature to certify that certificate of analysis. So that's an option if that's something that you'd like to do. We can see that data that I've chosen on that inspection order. I've told the system which of those features should carry over to that certificate of analysis. We can see that populated here. So of course, this also comes with a printable report that could be delivered to a customer. We'll get that printed here and just make it a little bit bigger for a moment. Of course, we can add your logo, and there's some amount of configuration from the front end we can do with this report without development. So that's also really nice. We're going to move into production execution and start talking through some of the highlights of our manufacturing module. I'm going to start with our PO planning overview screen. So again, this is a Yaveon screen. This is above and beyond what Business Central has to offer. And this is a really nice landing page for somebody who's either in management in the production area or who's a production planner. This allows us to see all of the production orders that we have in the system, what status they're in. Firm plan tends to be something that we know we're going to produce. Maybe we have a rough cut schedule, but it's not yet on the shop floor, where my released production orders are actually on the shop floor and being executed. I can see the expected yield. I can see how much I've actually output, and if there's anything that we expect to be remaining. And from here, I have a lot of functionality that's available to my planners. I have this availability filter. So if I want to see, hey, do I have anything where maybe I don't have enough inventory? In this case, we're good to go, but it would filter for me and tell me if I had any orders where I didn't have enough inventory to complete that order. If I drill down on that further, I can see exactly which items are short. So that's a really nice planning feature. We have a production order report that comes with this. So let me just switch to this one here. We're going to go ahead and print out that production order report. So this is something that would go on top of a traveler or a job packet. This is going to give us our different operational steps, what raw material is going to go into each operational step. And you're going to notice that we have these barcodes here. So this is also compatible with the barcoding and scanning if you want to do real-time consumption and output on your shop floor, or record time spent doing tasks. That's available in our solutions. So you can see here that I have a product description that I was able to add to this. I have some manufacturing instructions. Going back to our previous page here, let's see what else we have that's available to us. I can take a look at my components. I can request material from my warehouse. I could even do manual posting here from the back office. So if you're not doing real-time posting, something's happening in the back office, that can all be done right from this page, rather than having to drill down into specific production orders. So once we're done with our planning, we've asked our warehouse to stage some raw material for us so we can start our production process. We're actually going to start executing production on our shop floor. I'm going to go here to our released production orders. And let's take a look at this one today. So if you've seen Business Central before, this is Business Central's production order. We have additional fields and features and functionality that's built on top of this, but it should look pretty similar to if you've seen Business Central before. So this is really the collection of all of the posting and activity that's going to happen when I'm in production. Now, if I scroll down here to the line section, of course, it tells me up here what I'm going to make and how many I'm going to make. If I go down to the line section, I can drill down further to see additional information. So if I want to pull up a component list, if I want to look at my routing, I can do that. So maybe you're wondering, how does the system know what components that are needed or what raw materials needed for this order? And we have a recipe module that allows us to very easily enter in our bill of material in that recipe type format. We can see here on the header of this document, it is version controlled, it is status controlled, so it has to be certified in order to be able to use it. I have the ability to have different lot sizes if I'm using different machines based on the lot size, different machines based on location. I have that ability in my configuration. And when I look into the line section here, we can see this is where we're entering our operational steps with all of the materials that go into each operational step. We can work with recipes. So if you have, ingredients that are part of a recipe, but maybe you're putting it in a box or something that's not part of the recipe, we have functionality around that. Again, we can work with potency, active ingredients, and other things that can help us real time in production when we're doing that lot selection. So tons of additional functionality here. We have to keep it high level today. But let's go back to our production order. And I've already gone through and I've provisioned the material in my system. So my warehouse already pulled it. We can see here if I go into my components that it's been lot tracked. So we have this really nice visual indicator here, letting us know that we have fully lot tracked everything that we need to in this screen, as well as we have assigned a lot number to our finished good. So again, we can use our scanner if we would like to for that real-time consumption and output, but if we're doing it in the back office, we can go to our production journal here. We can see, everything is populated. And we'll just make that a little bit smaller so we get a few more columns that we can see. We can see what we're expecting to consume, what we're expecting to output. Of course, we can make changes if we needed to. And our system offers a lot of flexibility when we have varying yields. So, base BC, we like to say, or is a very good discrete manufacturing. When we have a lot of variability, maybe we're putting in different quantities, maybe we're over consuming, maybe we're having more output than we're expecting. Those are some of the areas where Business Central will require some workarounds, and we're able to provide a lot of value there. So when we're all done with this, we can go ahead and post. And then we'd be able to finish our production order. So that is everything I had today. I want to make sure I just hit on those highlights. So Emerson, I'll pass it back over to you to close us out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Noelle. That was wonderful. So it looks like I do have a question here from somebody. So they asked if a lot fails the inspection later down in the process, how easy is it for the user to trace where it's been used?
I see. So we've already consumed it, for example, in production. Maybe we've even shipped it to a customer, and then we find out there's an issue with the lot. So we want to know where is it, right? Who have we shipped something out to? Where is it in the warehouse? What goods are impacted by this? So yes, we do have full item traceability, full forward and backward. We can also see, in addition to, of course, where all those lots have been used, and that forward and backward traceability, those lot status changes. So we can find out exactly when did it go through that quality process? When was the status change? Were there any other changes made to that lot? And be able to do additional investigation from there.
All right, got it, got it. Awesome, thank you. Yeah. Well, I have a question when it comes to that. Does this also involve like incidents management as well, like the CAPA process? I know that yeah.
Yeah, so we have an incident, a CAPA process with our incident management module. As we talked about earlier, all of our modules work really nicely together. So if it's something that you need, it adds right on, and it integrates many times integrates with other features. So in the example of incident management, I could create an incident from a finished inspection order. I can also create an incident from a sales shipment or a receipt. If I want to. So I can have that association to any type of activity that happened that's system tracked, or if I just need to create an incident, maybe a customer calls in and complains about something and we don't have any type of transaction to tie it to, that's available as well. So that allows us to define what immediate actions need to be taken, any corrective preventative actions, as well as assign dates for when those actions should be due and track the completion of those tasks.
Got it. And I figured that this also comes into terms when it comes to recalls as well, like food and pharmaceutical recalls.
Yeah, and the nice thing about
Mm.
that incident management app, let's say you have a customer who complains and you find the sales shipment and you tie that incident to that sales shipment. That ability to do that item tracing is it's embedded right in that incident. So you don't have to go to another area of the application to track down, where was the impact of this lot, what went into it, what ingredients went into it, who else received it. You can find that all right from that incident page.
Awesome. Great. Well, you've been super helpful. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate everyone else for attending our webinar. We do this every month, and we hope to do more specific webinars for different functionalities as well in the future. So stay tuned, and like I said, check out our LinkedIn page. We just started one for our US partners as well. So thanks so much, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.